I'm one of the translators for a game named Blade and Soul. Don't get too excited, I'm not an official translator, and this game is not going to be available in North America anytime soon. I'm helping make the free-to-play Chinese version of the game available in English so that anyone at all can play. I'll show you just how translation is made. I'll work the way I normally work, and you guys can see all of it. I'll even explain exactly what I'm doing each step of the way. In the original Korean version, the text is embedded into many files spread out through the entire game folder. But since we're translating the Chinese version, we've got it a whole lot easier for us. The Chinese text is all in a single place in their localization folder, which includes references to all the original places that text came from. If you extract the bundle of files here, you can see many things, among which are subtitles, surveys, and another extractable file called datafile.bin, which has several XML files within, many of which define the in-game text. A wonderful person known well by his username Loki Reborn has condensed all the unique lines of text into one file for us translators to poke at. And he has created a patcher to add the translations to the game. The file is really fucking long. There are 500,000 lines in this goddamn Chinese file, and we have to translate it all. To give you an idea of how fucking big 500,000 lines really is, if we translated 1,000 lines every single day, it would take us 2 years. 2 years to translate the entire thing. And we don't even go at 1,000 lines per day. That's a lot. Official companies have entire teams of people working to get this done, but we just have a couple people. Dunn did the skill translations, Lucy is doing the Spanish patch, and I'm focusing on items, quests, and user interface. As you can see, I've gotten it all translated up to Act 2, Chapter 2. I'm gonna add a quest, an item, a skill, and a user interface element translation, and you can see how it's all done. I've just received a new quest. That quest is right here in the file. The quest reward is a new untranslated item. Item descriptions are made out of many pieces. As you can see, some of the pieces are already translated because those pieces have already been used in other items. They're interchangeable. Things like item level, durability, tradability are there for many of the items. So I've already gotten them done. Now I'm going to go through, find all of the missing pieces in the file, and get them translated. After applying the patch, I simply have to restart the game and I will see my changes in effect. Now, as you can see, all the descriptions pertaining to this item have been translated. Many of the descriptions span across different items, so if I were to look at some other items in the future, and they have the same description that this one has, it would be translated as well. That's why in the beginning, when you saw this item untranslated, it seemed like some of the stuff already was translated and the other half was Chinese. Not only do I work on the English patch for this game, but I also run a database website with quests, skills, installation guides, and of course, items. The list of items is not complete because I'm still translating them. Every time I translate an item in the game, I will add it to this database. Right now, I'll show you how a new item is added. I'll add just that same item that we see in the quest here. When I want to add a new item to the database, I can manually put in the information that pertains to that item into an SQL query, and then it'll pop up automatically right on the page, or if I do an item search for the item name or level or any of that sort of thing. Every item has an item identification number, the Chinese name, the English name, the URL to the item, an ID signifying the item color, whether it's purple, white item, blue, the item class, this is what can equip the item, summoner, Lin, or race, any of that sort of thing. The item type, whether it's food, whether it's a staff, whether it's candy, who knows. The item level, if there isn't an item level, if this item can't be progressed or upgraded, then it's just 0. IDs for items bonus stats and other item bonuses such as sockets or HP or a chance to slow your enemy, chance to recover chi. Little shortcut identification numbers just link that information right to the item. A sequence of identification numbers for details about how the item is upgraded. A sequence of identification numbers for where the item is obtained from, such as quests, merchants, anything like that. Identification number if you need it for anything the item can be used for. This one can't be used for anything, it's a staff, you just equip it. So this is just 0. Then a Chinese description, an English description, the item durability. If there isn't durability, if this isn't a weapon, it'll just be 0. The type of repair tool needed to repair the item, whether or not you can trade the item, whether or not you can destroy the item, and if you can sell the item, how much money it sells for. Also, I add the identification number of a quest, which you can get the item from, and the identification number of a quest, if there is one, for which you can turn in the item to and get a reward. If there's any other notes pertaining to this item, I'll add the code for that note here. All of the little codes that you just saw get evaluated by my script. For example, if I have a code for an item being obtained and the code is 002, it'll show that you can embed a gem into the item. After I save the information that I've just entered, I can add the item and type its identification code in. The code is 000017 for this item. Now, after I refresh the item page, the item shows up along with all the other staffs that I've added. You could see all the details right here. Click on any quests that you want to read so you can be able to get this item yourself. And later on, I'm going to be adding evolution sequences for evolving the items as well. And previews for how the item is going to look like when you equip it are included as well. I've just received a new quest. You can see this quest right here in the file. And none of the quest details are translated yet. Neither are the NPC dialogues. I'm going to go through now and make sure all of them are translated properly. Most times, they're all clustered together, one after another. Right here is the description that you see in the quest window. And here's the description you see in the window after you have completed all your quests, like these here. But sometimes you end up seeing pieces of the quest that you can't find, and you simply have to type in what you see here in Chinese and find them that way. That's usually the NPC speech bubbles or various alerts. I'm going to go through now, translate this entire quest, then upload my changes, and you'll be able to see them in game. I often have to restart the game to see my changes in effect. It is important that meaning isn't lost and that the translations are truly correct. Something that is said from the perspective of an NPC might look the same in the text file as something that's being said from the perspective of just a order that you have to do in a quest. But the way it's translated is often very different, and it needs to be understood by the players. Often, after I've translated something, the lines get broken up in the middle, or there's a word missing, like here. It breaks right in the middle of the word village, and we can't control that because in Chinese, a word can just break anywhere. It doesn't have to be at a space. So I have to always go back and fix that. Once again, things going wrong, and I have to go back and fix them to look nice. While I'm translating a quest, I don't just add it to our file. I also make sure that the quest is added to the database. Just like with the item, I filled out a query that inserts all sorts of information about the quest into our database. Now, when I want to find this quest by name, English or Chinese, doesn't matter, let's say, type in the word failure. Should find all the quests with that word in it. Yep, there we go. Shows all the rewards for it. I'll also add a tutorial for the quest so that people, if they get any errors or bugs, can read up on that as well. And I will add the tutorial as I go along. After a hideous amount of translating, patching, and restarting the game, the translation of this quest is finally ready to go. My next steps would be to translate the quest that you automatically receive after this cutscene is complete, and to walk around Bamboo Village and translate all the NPCs, all the dialogues, and all the items that I see. I wish I could translate the Chinese in these little cutscenes here that say the NPC name, but good enough. The guide, along with all the maps, is ready to be viewed, and the quest rewards and all the quest dialogues are included as well. The item reward you can view, and it has a preview and links back to the quest again. The text of skills is actually broken up into a bunch of itty-bitty pieces scattered all over the file. A skill might look like a single sentence, such as, after Ignite Pollen has been used to kill an enemy, the cooldown of a skill is reset. But this sentence is actually composed of 4 little pieces that are kind of hard to find in the file. Ignite Pollen, cooldown time, after X has been used to kill an enemy, and the X of this skill is reset. And that's just one sentence in one branch of a skill tree. There are around 30 sentences in some skill trees to translate. It often looks like we did a sloppy job and translated just weird little segments of a skill or of a piece of the UI, but that's not the case. Every piece of skill and UI is actually scattered in these tiny segments all over that crazy 500,000 line file. We have to manually search for each segment and translate it separately. I'm sure that many of you are thinking, why can't the translators just go through the entire file in order and translate everything they see? There are 2 good reasons why we aren't doing this. The first reason, remember how I mentioned earlier in the video how it would take us 2 years to translate the entire file if we were to go in order and translate every line? Well, that's why we're not going in order. We're finding the important stuff and translating it first, so you can see all that stuff as soon as possible. The patch is updated several times a week. And the second reason is that we must see the translations in game to know what they truly mean. For example, the Chinese words 接触 can mean different things depending on where you see them in game. In the context of chat box alerts, they mean turn off. In the context of an alert dialogue, they mean cancel. In the context of a skill, they mean remove. You guys don't want to see meaningless crap like an NPC saying, you good, instead of hi there, or a cancel button saying remove instead, right? Of course, making sure this stuff is being translated to its contextual meaning is very time consuming, but quality is much better than quantity, isn't it? A bunch of you watching might be my subscribers from my Iron videos and are wondering why I haven't been posting Iron tutorials in a long while. It's because I've been doing all this Blade and Soul stuff instead. Come play with me, it's free and anyone can download it. My website, bns.endgame.pk, has tutorials on how to get the game running. I play on 2 servers. You can add me with the character name on the server above, which is an overpopulated and kind of laggy Chinese server I like, or on the character name and server name shown above, which is a less populated server with a large English community. I'm gonna be posting more Blade and Soul tutorials as time goes on, and also some funny videos of Ion Legion drama and Ventrilo from the good old Ion days. follow me on Facebook or something. It's easier than subscribing to me. I post funny arguments and blatant soul English patch updates and links to videos that I upload to YouTube on there. Well, to be honest, I kind of hate Facebook, but if I tell you guys to add me on MySpace or LiveJournal, you're gonna call me hipster and laugh.